All right, what is going on, guys? This weekend is UFC Fight Night, Vancouver, DeRitter versus Allen. This is going to be my full card early predictions. Is this the first fight of the night? It is. Start out with the first fight of the night, Melissa Croden versus Lisboa. Tainara Lisboa, I think is how you pronounce it. I'm going to go Lisboa to get it done via decision. Women's MMA fights, is really hard for me to pick a finish. I have to really think one is significantly better than the other to pick someone by finish. I think this is going to be a pretty boring women's MMA fight where Lisboa uses her grappling to get the win over Croden. Not much to say about this fight. I don't really give a shit. This fight, we have Asmat Bakoya versus Yurisi Belgarou. I don't know. We're going to call him Yurisi because I can say that easier. I got to go Asmat Bakoya first round KO. Yurisi making his UFC debut, coming off the Contender Series. I don't know. He does have a pretty significant height and reach advantage over Asmat Bakoyev, but I got to go Bakoyev to get it done via first round KO. I'm on the Asmat Bakoyev hype train. I think the striking of Bakoyev is superior to Yurisi. And if I remember correctly, his Contender Series fight was quite competitive. And I think Bakoyev is just that next level up above. So I think we're going to see a first round KO from Bakoyev. Should be fun while it lasts. Bakoyev's always in fun fights, exciting fights. I was going to say win or lose, but he only has 3 losses, and I don't think any of them are in the UFC if I remember correctly. So this should be a great, fun fight. Moving up the card. We have Stephanie Lucindo versus Raven Oliveira. Again, it's another one of these women's MMA fights that nobody really gives a shit about. I'm going to go Oliveira to get it done with the grappling. Same with the other women's MMA fight. And don't get me wrong, I'm not just hating on women's MMA fights. It's just by and large, they're garbage and super low level. Not that the men's MMA fights aren't either, but I could give a less of a fuck about this fight. So, that's all I'm saying about it. Kyle Prepolek versus Drew Dober. Prepolek got re-signed in the UFC to come in on short notice to face Benoit Saint-Denis. Got absolutely destroyed by Benoit Saint-Denis. Drew Dober, I think he's on a 2-fight losing streak, both by KO, if I remember correctly. No. That's Matt Favola. Drew Dober's coming off a loss. I just can't remember if it's the Jean still the loss, or if he's had another fight since then. Fuck, I'm tired. It's hard to, I don't remember. But, I gotta go Drew Dober. I must say, God, Prepolek. I gotta go Drew Dober. Even though they're both kind of older. Even though Drew Dober's kind of older, past his prime, I still think he's gonna go out there and absolutely demolish Kyle Prepolek. Now, I thought Benoit Saint-Denis would have been able to get Kyle Prepolek out of there faster than he did. So I'm going to go Drew Dober to get it done via second round TKO over Kyle Prepolek, where Prepolek survives the first round barely. But kind of worried about Drew Dober's chin. I don't know if it's still there or not. I think if Prepolek's going to win, he's going to win by KO. And for Dober, I could see him winning by decision, but I'm going to pick him to win via second round TKO over Kyle Prepolek. He might get cut after this loss. You know, that'd be back-to-back losses where he got re-signed. Maybe they'll give him a third chance. I don't know. Probably, honestly, doesn't deserve to be in the UFC. But we will see after this performance. You know, he has a full training camp. We'll see what he looks like. Full training camp Kyle Prepolek. We'll see if he can get it done. I don't think he can. Moving up the card. We have Danny Barlow versus, I'm just going to call him Jordan Santos. I've actually been kind of going back and forth on this fight. I'm not 100% sure who I was picking before I started this video. I'm going to go Danny Barlow to get it done via KO. First round KO. I'm slightly worried. He's coming off of I can't remember if it was a KO or a TKO loss. I'm worried he's going to be a little gun shy. But I just don't know if that's his style. He's got a pretty significant reach advantage I think it was a 4-inch reach advantage. I think we're going to see him go out there. Santos, I don't want to say it's a step down in competition from his last fight. It's about even. But I'm going to go first round KO for Danny Barlow. Finds that left hand. Drops Santos, finishes him with ground and pound. I think we're going to see him kind of want to take back that loss that he just had and go out there and prove that he's still got it. He's still a good contender, and try and build back the hype he kind of had going when he first got into the UFC. Moving up the card, we have Bruno Silva versus Hyung Sung Park. Bruno Silva kind of tends to always get out-grappled, and I kind of think that's how this fight's going to go. He's got decent grappling, don't get me wrong. Hyung Sung Park, in his last fight, got out-grappled by Tatsuro Taira, but Tatsuro Taira is he's definitely top 5 flyweight right now, and get him one more win, and potentially you're looking at, if Pantoja can defend his belt against Van, you're going to see Tatsuro Taira fight for the title next, more than likely. I mean, that's a new contender for Pantoja that he's never fought before. I just think he needs to get one more win in, and then we could see him potentially fight for a title. It's hard for me to pick Bruno Silva. He always seems to go out there, and he looks good at first. He looks really good at first, and then he kind of fades. So I'm going to pick Hyung Sung Park to get it done via 29-28 decision, where Bruno Silva picks up the first round and Park picks up the second and third. I just think the cardio is going to kind of fail Silva, and I just see, in my opinion, I think Park is a younger version of Silva. Maybe Silva has a little bit better jiu-jitsu, but I think they're both pretty good on the feet, compared to each other. Both pretty decent on the feet, and both have decent wrestling compared to each other. I just think Hyung Sung Park's going to have the cardio advantage, the youth advantage. And I don't want to say the drive, because I think if Silva loses this fight, he might get cut. It's kind of close if he would get cut or not. So we'll see how it goes. I'm going to Hyung Sung Park 20-28 decision win. Moving up the card, headlining the prelims. This is actually a very good fight, in my opinion. Damn, I'm congested today. We have Charles Jourdain versus Davy Grant. This fight is tough to pick. Charles Jourdain was a featherweight, has since dropped down to bantamweight. He got one win, if I remember correctly. The win doesn't mean anything. If I remember correctly, it's Victor Henry. That win is meaningless. If you hear anything in the background, it's my dogs walking around. That win doesn't really mean anything. Victor Henry's not very good. I don't even know if he's in the UFC still. Davy Grant, the veteran that just continues to turn back contenders time after time. And then when he gets that, step up in competition, he typically loses. He has had some close competitive fights in the past where I thought he won and he didn't. This fight's tough to pick. I think Davy Grant's almost 40 years old. And Charles Jourdain, try to reinvent the wheel at bantamweight for himself. Kind of well-rounded, decent grappling, getting better on the feet, where Davy Grant is kind of good on the feet, good on the takedown defense, and his kind of weak point is the grappling. But is Jourdain's grappling good enough to out-grapple Davy Grant? I don't think it is. I don't. I think his takedown defense is very good. I think Jourdain's going to have problems getting Grant down. He's almost 40. They got identical reach, nothing different there. I'm going to go with Davy Grant. I'm going to go with Davy Grant to get it done via decision over Charles Jourdain. I think it's going to be the craftiness on the feet and the ability to keep the fight standing and defend the takedowns of Charles Jourdain. Jourdain doesn't have that super good grappling where he can just ragdoll people and just drag them down. I don't see that happening in this fight. And on the feet, Davy Grant is slick. He's always finding good creative strikes. He's always good at moving, circling. So I think we're going to see Davy Grant looking good against Charles Jourdain all 3 rounds. I'm going to go Davy Grant 30-27 decision over Charles Jourdain. I am kind of worried because sometimes he can make these fights competitive and make it like a close 29-28 split decision win. But nonetheless, I'm going to go Davy Grant on this one. I think the veteran's going to get it done. You're looking at, if Davy Grant can get a win over Charles Jourdain, potentially one more win, or you just throw him in there with a ranked opponent. I believe he'd be on a 4 or 5 fight win streak at that point. Close to being ready to fight for a top 15 spot. So, we'll see how it goes for Davy Grant. Moving up the card, opening up the main card, we have Kyle Nelson versus Matt Frevola. Kyle Nelson, moving up from featherweight, making his, I believe this is his lightweight debut. I don't remember 100% if he's fought a lightweight in the UFC before. Matt Frevola, coming off of 2 back-to-back KO losses. Benoit Saint-Denis. Who was the other one? Fierziam. That's who the other one was. Not too bad losses to have. You know, Benoit Saint-Denis, a little bit of setback at lightweight. Lost to Poirier, lost to Moicano. Got his win over Kyle Prepolek, which I don't value at all. Nonetheless, he got a win. This is a tough fight for me to pick because my heart, my gut reaction when I see this fight, I'm like, gotta go Matt Frevola. But is his chin gone? I don't know. I don't know if his chin's gone. Kyle Nelson also coming off of a TKO loss. Was it Steve Garcia? I think it was Steve Garcia who he lost to. This fight's tough to pick, honestly. It's like, I really want to pick Matt Frevola. I just don't know if his chin's still there. And if it's not there, I could see Nelson clipping him and finishing him off via TKO. Frevola's got good power. Nelson's got okay power. I think Frevola probably has the grappling advantage. He's got decent wrestling. Striking advantage, they're pretty close in the striking department, I think. Outside of the power, like I said, I'm leaning Frevola with the power. I'm going to go Matt Frevola to get it done. I'm not super confident in that pick. If he loses this fight via TKO, he's probably done for. His chin's gone. I'm going to go Matt Frevola to get it done via decision, where he's kind of timid, plays the fight super conservatively, and goes out there and gets a competitive but decisive decision win over Kyle Nelson to get himself back in the win column. 29-28 decision for Matt Frevola is what I'm going to go with. Moving up the card. I know there's so many fights on this card that are super tough fight to pick. We have Cody Gibson versus Harichi Lang. Harichi Lang lost his last fight. Was it to... what is his name? Chihuahua's guy. Ro Rosas Jr. Cody Gibson, I can't remember who he fought last. Gibson's kind of like a Davy Grant-esque, where he's just kind of well-rounded, better on the feet, good cardio, okay grappling, good decent takedown defense. Harichi Lang, if you just, that's how I would describe him. He's like, he's okay. He's not terrible. He's not bottom of the barrel. He's not going to be elite of the elite. I'm going to go Cody Gibson to get it done via decision. I think his striking's just a little bit better, and I think the cardio is probably what's going to win him this fight. Cody Gibson can push a pace on people. She's got a toy. Cody Gibson can push a pace on people, and I think he's going to push a pace on Harichi Lang, and Harichi Lang's cardio will fail him. I could see Cody Gibson getting it done like third round TKO. You got a toy there, don't you? I could see Gibson get it done like third round TKO, but I'm going to go Cody Gibson to get it done via decision. where he kind of outpaces and outdoes Aoriqi Lang on the feet. Maybe holds him up against the cage in parts of the fight and kind of keeps it there, you know, near the end of the thigh. Somewhat of a boring performance, but I think he's going to get it done via decision. Moving up the card. Is this a featured fight? No, not the featured fight. This is actually a decent... You in my lap? Yep, there you go. Okay. This is actually a decent fight in the women's flyweight division that I would actually want to watch. We have Manon Fior versus Jasmine Jasavicius. Tough fight to pick, honestly. My gut reaction, as soon as this was announced, was Manon Fior. Like, I picked against... Did I pick against her in her title fight? I can't remember. I'm pretty sure I picked Manon Fior to win the title against Valentina Shevchenko. I'm going to go Jasavicius to get it done. I think the grappling of Jasavicius is what's going to win her this fight. She seems to go out there and out-grapple all her opponents. Now, Manon Fior is very strong, okay? She's got that masculinity to her. Very strong for a flyweight. So, I could see her, you know, defending the takedowns, stepping the takedowns of Jasavicius, keeping it on the feet, and busting her up at range. So, this could go back to bite me in the butt, picking Jasavicius. But I think it's kind of now or never for her. She's 35 years old. She's making a run for the title. I think she's improved enough in her striking. But I think she's going to go out there and try and out-grapple Manon Fior. Because Shevchenko is able to, in moments, out-grapple Manon Fior. And that was what helped her win the fight. She did bust her up on the feet. You know, don't get me wrong. I think it's going to be a very competitive fight. I'm going to go Jasmine Jasavicius via 29-28 decision. Figure out what you want to do. Up or down? Moxie. Boop, you're getting down. Whee! So yeah, competitive fight, but I'm going to go Jasmine Jasavicius to get it done with her grappling. Moving up the card, the featured fight, we have Marlon Vera versus Aiemann Zahabi. Again, gut reaction, Aiemann Zahabi. I mean, Vera coming off back-to-back losses. Kind of just perpetually looks like in his fight. Like, he goes out there, gets like a nice win, and then just looks like shit in his next fight. He always seems to start slow. You know, if this is a 5-round fight, I'd be super confident in picking Marlon Vera to like lose the first 2 rounds. What are you doing? Lose the first 2 rounds. I guess I'm gonna have a dog on my lap. Lose the first 2 rounds, and then come back and win the last 3. I just don't know. I don't know if I can pick him. Aiemann Zahabi, he's kind of old. I think he's 37 years old, which is, you know, for bantamweight, you know. I know I just picked Davy Grant. But he's okay on the feet, kind of slow. Vera's kind of slow as well, but Vera has really good power. Vera definitely has the power advantage in this fight. I would say the striking advantage overall I give to Vera. Zahabi, maybe the grappling advantage. Maybe. I've been going back and forth in my mind on this fight. I'm going to go Marlon Vera to get it done. Zahabi's probably the favorite for good reason. He's on a good win streak. Beat Jose Aldo in his last fight where Aldo completely gassed out. Marlon Vera's not going to gas out in this fight. I'm going to go Marlon Vera to get it done via decision to get back in the win column. 29-28 decision. Split decision as well. I think it's going to be a close competitive fight where Vera ekes it out. I could also see Vera knocking him out. I'm not going to lie. You know, if Aldo can drop him, Vera's got good power. I think Vera could drop him as well. Yeah, we're going to go Marlon Vera to get this done via decision. Moving up the card, the co-main event. I'm kind of frustrated because Holland keeps getting in these fights where I'm like, is he going to win? I don't know if he's going to win this fight. I don't rate Mike Malott that good, but every time I think Kevin Holland's on the up and up, he loses the fight. Don't like me. I don't know. I'm going to go Kevin Holland to get it done. I'm not confident in it. I should be. Kevin Holland should go out there and absolutely smoke Mike Malott, just like he should have went out there and absolutely smoked Daniel Rodriguez in his last fight. but he didn't. He got dropped, made it super competitive, clearly lost that fight. Mike Malot's going to be motivated. You know, he's in Canada. He's going to go out there. I do not like Mike Malott. I really hope Kevin Holland goes out there and KOs him. But I'm going to go Kevin Holland to get it done via 29-28 competitive decision, where it's a close competitive fight. I think Malott might try and use the grappling, and I could see him getting like Darce choked in this one. But I think Kevin Holland's power is definitely better than Mike Malott's. I think that's going to play a factor in this fight, and that's what's going to lead to Kevin Holland getting the win over Mike Malott via decision. I could see a finish from Kevin Holland. It's hard to pick a Kevin Holland fight because you never know, which version of him is going to show up. But I think he's going to be good enough to get it done over Mike Malott. Moving up the main event, we have Reinier de Ridder versus Brendan Allen. Allen taking the fight on short notice. Was originally supposed to be Anthony Hernandez, which I would love to have seen that fight. Essentially would have been a number 2 contender fight because you have Imavov's probably going to be next for the middleweight title. And the winner of this fight would have been next after that. Although I think if Allen wins, I don't know if he'd be next after Imavov. He could be. I think de Ridder definitely would be next after Imavov if he wins this fight. Or, you never know. He's kind of on the up and up. He's kind of gaining some traction, some popularity. They could just throw de Ridder in there with Chimaev. And in my opinion, I think de Ridder versus Chimaev will be a more fun fight than Chimaev versus Imavov. That's just my opinion. But in this fight, I cannot pick Brendan Allen. Although I think he has improved, he always shows super low fight IQ in all of his fights. He's got decent grappling. So I think it's going to be harder for de Ridder to go out there and absolutely ragdoll him. But, in my mind, if we take Robert Whittaker versus Brendan Allen, I'm going Robert Whittaker. I think he would easily beat Brendan Allen. I know Whittaker had a competitive fight with de Ridder. 1, 2 of the rounds, maybe. What I think is going to play a factor in this fight is de Ridder's very good in the clinch. I think he's going to clinch up with Allen and throw those brutal knees to the body. Does he finish him? I think he is. I think he's going to finish Brendan Allen, make him quit. I'm going to go Reinier de Ridder to get it done via 4th round TKO. Allen's taking this on short notice. He's not going to be ready for 5 rounds. I think, over the first 3 rounds, de Ridder's going to be just slamming knees to the body over and over again, marching Brendan Allen down. I think by the time the 4th round gets around, Allen's going to be tired. He's going to be exhausted. And de Ridder's finally going to finish him to the body with knees. So I'm going to go Reinier de Ridder, 4th round TKO via knee strikes to the body. That's my prediction. Who do you guys think is going to win in the main event? Let me know down below. Make sure to drop a like on the video. Subscribe if you haven't subscribed already. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Goodbye.